Yo, what's up? Gordukes is here, and I'm here with a different kind of video. Something that's been on my mind. I have no plans for this video. I don't know if I'm gonna release it. I haven't had anything written down, no script, nothing. But I felt a little unmotivated today because I had just finished reacting to Dragon Ball GT, which I loved, and I'm still reacting to Gintama. And I wanted to start another show to react to, and I was like, I recorded two reactions to that show. I'm not gonna say what it is, and then I just lost all motivation. I don't know if I'm gonna finish reacting to it or whatever, but I just felt like it wasn't right, and so I scrapped it. I'm scrapping it for now. And then I really thought to myself, this feels right because I really am taking on more than I can chew, more than I can bite, bark, whatever. So it really led me to this topic, which is how media kind of affects my motivation. Now, I want to start off this by saying, viewer discretion advised. I am not a doctor, I'm not a scientist, I'm not a wizard. Um, so everything I'm about to talk about is very anecdotal. It's very personal to me. It's not real. You could say BS if you want to. This is just my personal experience. Because motivation and media really does affect me, and I want to show you my thought process and how it kind of has been for me, especially working with this channel part-time. So yeah, I just wanted to talk about how media affects me and how it motivates me in my everyday life. Not just anime, but also other things that I'll talk about. But let's start with anime, right? So today I scrapped that reaction, and now I want to do something, lessen the workload, because I'm not getting paid for this. I'm doing this because I want to. I'm doing this because, why not, right? But I also don't want to overwork myself and burn myself out, because I did burn myself out last year, and I stopped making videos for a few months. And I don't want that to happen again. Like, I want to keep doing this. It's fun. It's cool. It's something that I can be proud of. So let's talk about media in general. So I truly believe that there are shows, movies, music, games that you experience in your life, stuff that aligns with your interest. It could be another hobby, right? Or we're talking media today. Stuff like that comes into your life at the right time. Even if it's new or it's old, it's been out for years, it really does affect you at the right time. And you might think it's like divine intervention. I might think it's divine intervention, but if you're not religious, you might think it's just the universe or whatever you want to call it, right? I truly believe that no matter who you are, the right things come into your life at the right time. Because I feel like it's happened a lot in my life where I just feel really down and I don't know what to do, and then I go see a movie or I read a chapter of a manga, and it totally just changes everything, and it makes me want to do something. And I'll give an example, okay? I'll give a bunch of examples, and hopefully you'll give your examples down in the comments if you're watching. But I remember, I think it was chapter 733, 35, around there of One Piece. This was a few years ago when I was still in community college. And I felt lost. I didn't know what I want to do. And it's something that I've dealt with for a long time. And then I would read One Piece weekly online. And then I read that chapter in particular. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, it's the chapter where a character comes back. This is Dressrosa. Put two and two together. If you can see who it is, you can put it together. When that character was shown to be alive, right? It totally, for 5 seconds when I realized, it totally uplifted me, and it just made me feel so much better. And I still think about that, damn, man. Whew! It was chills in my body. And it just kind of changed how I thought for a little while. Another example is, I guess, more recently, last year, I just felt really, I don't want to say stuck at my job, but I just felt really weird. I don't know if I wanted to stay there or if I wanted to leave. and I just kind of felt like stuck. I didn't want to leave the house, and I went and saw Weapons. I believe it was Weapons, and I didn't think it was gonna be that good of a movie, but man, it was a really good movie. Okay, if you haven't seen Weapons, you gotta go see Weapons. And it's stuff like that where I'm just like, damn, it motivated me, it inspired me. I think I made like a little video on it eventually, but man, it's stuff like that that kind of just brings me back, and it kind of just hits me over the head. It's like, damn, just block out all the noise and then do whatever you want. So let's talk about more anime wise, I guess. So I'm looking at Yusuke Urameshi right now. And I feel like when it comes to anime characters, you can't really fully embody who they are because they're characters, they're over exaggerated in a lot of ways. They're crazy. They're fighting, especially in shonen, they're fighting demons and stuff like that. Their personalities are all over the place. But what I think is important to know is that separating the art from the artist, most of the time, not all the time, in cases like this, is what I mean is like, you can't fully be a Yusuke Urameshi. You got to take away a small part of him. And I feel like a small part of him that I see in myself, in him, is sometimes he has an attitude. Sometimes I have an attitude. And sometimes, you're frustrated and you don't know how to, like, show it sometimes. And so I feel like he holds a lot of things in. And, I see that. And it's like, damn, there's a lot of things that's wrong with this character, but I totally relate. Even though I'm not an anime character, I totally relate. And it just makes me want to be better, especially when you watch the show and you watch him grow. Another example, let's just say out of the blue, you're a Kenpachi Zaraki fan. There's an anime trope in shonen where you're super badass and then nothing like can stop you. You're a monster, you're a freak of nature, or the show portrays you that way. And so what you would take from that to kind of motivate you is sort of like gym motivation. Like, damn, you see that? You see Kenpachi Zaraki cut Noriota or whatever his name is in half? And it just makes you want to go to the gym. It makes you want to go outside. You see stuff like that. It just makes you want to run. I feel like that's happened in my life, where it just makes me want to work out. And I'll eat a big fat pizza afterward. I don't care. Same thing with like Baki. I love Baki. I think it's super ridiculous. But when you see these guys go crazy on each other, see them do the most crazy, ridiculous, outlandish things and work out all the time, it just makes you want to work out. Same thing with TikTok. You see people on TikTok, fitness influencers are at an all-time high now, which I can appreciate because all these people are just working out now. And I feel like working out wasn't cool when I was growing up. And so now TikTok has kind of made it cool again. So is anime. It kind of goes hand in hand, depending on your algorithm. Another thing that motivates me is other shows like Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. I know that's a crazy one to put out there, but Fresh Prince of Bel-Air has been in my life for as long as I remember being a kid seeing that show. And I remember it had such an impact on me, not only because it's one of the best shows ever made. Will Smith in The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air is like one of the coolest characters like in TV history, in my opinion. Especially in sitcoms, because I put him up there with like, I know this might sound crazy, but Kelso from That 70s Show, I think he's one of the funniest characters ever created in sitcoms. So when I see like people like Will Smith in Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, he's like the coolest dude, and everybody is like, just wants to be him, especially Carlton, even though he's like kind of jealous. He doesn't really want to show it sometimes, even though they get along. I always thought Will Smith in that show was the coolest guy ever. But this is where I talk about separating the art from the artist, because I don't know if I'll ever meet Will Smith in person, but I'm sure he's a cool guy. I know he's different from what I've seen over the years in that show. And so I have these expectations, but what I'm taking from that show, or what I'm taking from that character, is what he meant to me as I was growing up. And I thought he was the coolest dude ever. And so I feel like I know people who kind of embody that personality, and I'm just like, man, I totally respect you. I totally respect how you live your life, and I kind of want to live my life that way. So that's another way of it motivating me. Another thing is music, right? I really do believe, even though I haven't really thought about it until recently, that music really does affect how you feel. I know that's common sense, right? But I just feel like there are times where I'm not feeling really anything too strong emotionally, and then I'll put on a song and I'll just get angry. I'll put on a song and just get sad for no reason. I'll put on a song and I'm just like, I just feel like doing something, motivated, motivation, something like that. It really just happens on a dime, in my opinion. And it's a common thing, but I've never really noticed it until someone pointed it out to me like a few months ago. He's like, be careful what you listen to because it really does affect how you think, how you feel. You don't want, I'm not going to say anything crazy like the devil's music is getting into you. No, it's just stuff like that. It really does affect you. I talk about how last year I got into wrestling, watching wrestling, and I never thought in my adult life that I would ever watch wrestling or at least somewhat take it seriously. But now I'm super into it because I was watching it last year. I got introduced to it. And one thing that's cool about media is that once you open your mind to a lot of different things, like for me it was wrestling, right? You really learn a lot about yourself because you're like, damn, I really do connect with these people, some of them, even though it's like kayfabe, not real, whatever. Like I do respect the character that they're showing, because you kind of want to like show off that bravado and you kind of just want to embody a little bit who they are. Because when you hear someone like Eddie Guerrero do his promo, or someone like Stone Cold Steve Austin, The Rock, all these people doing their promos, you're just like, damn it. You just can't help but feel it, right? And imagine where some people would be if they didn't have that in their life, right? And it's funny because there's a lot of similarities between WWE and like anime in terms of acting. It's funny, it's uncanny, but I really do enjoy it. Another thing would be like video games, right? So last year, Expedition 33 came out, and I did not expect a game like that to affect me the way that it did. It's one of my favorite games of all time. And I was playing it during a time in my life where I just kind of didn't feel too good. I was struggling at work and stuff like that, and mentally I was just like, eh. But it really did take me out of it, and it really did, like, the music was a huge part of it. The characters, just seeing something that I really care about and was able to play again, like enjoying video games, because at that point, I wasn't enjoying video games for a while. And the fact that I got to sit down and like lock in and enjoy it and kind of let go for a little bit just kind of put me at ease. And yeah, it just made me look forward to like other things in life. I don't know. I don't want to sound too dramatic here, but this is all pseudoscience. It's all me. It's in my head. Another thing I got into a couple years ago was Pokemon Go. Like I said, things come in your life at the right time because I played it when it came out and then I stopped playing. And then 2 years ago, a coworker of mine told me, hey, play Pokemon Go. It's popping right now. And I was like, yeah, sure, whatever. I downloaded it that night, and I've been playing it ever since. I've been going to the meetups. I went to the Rose Bowl to do the Pokemon Go tour because I went last year and I went this year. And it's like, man, if my coworker hadn't told me at that point in time to hop on Pokemon Go, I probably wouldn't be leaving the house as much as I would have. I probably wouldn't have, as much to look forward to when I'm playing the game. It's just a little more in life for me to enjoy, and I really appreciate that. So that's just my little rant. I really didn't have anything planned for this video. If you like it, let me know. Maybe I'll make more videos like this. Maybe. I appreciate you watching. Remember to like, comment, subscribe, all that stuff, and I will see y'all next time. Peace.